And here to discuss the future of warfare, both in space and on Earth, we'll talk to Assistant Professor of Electrical and Computer Engineering at the University of New Haven, Dr. Vahid Behzadeh. Dr. Behzadeh, thank you so much for joining us. First of all, I think there's very little, right, that Republicans and Democrats can agree on Capitol Hill these days. But one of those things is the advancement of AI in the U.S.'s weaponry. Both parties seem to agree that the U.S. is falling behind China on this matter. Can you give us kind of a broad overview on what's happening in this space?
So autonomy and automation has been a major focus of research and development in the military sector, in the defense sector, in the US, in China, in Russia, and many other countries. But the recent advances in AI has changed the landscape of possibilities. Data-driven solutions allow for more autonomy, including self-driving, autonomous navigation, and autonomous target selection, and complete autonomous lethal kill chain, from localization to selection to target selection to kinetic action. Now, countries like China, Russia, and Israel have been investing quite heavily in developing technologies that utilize AI in autonomous weapons, from autonomous rifles to somewhat autonomous drones and tanks. The U.S. has been doing the same. The issue here in the U.S. is the moral argument is greatly advocated both from the academia and from members of the military itself. And this has resulted in some friction, some obstacles in developing autonomous AI-enabled autonomous weapons in this domain.
Now, something called swarm warfare is being used to describe the use of AI fully controlling some fighter jets. This is a term DARPA is using. DARPA seems pretty confident in the future of this technology, but have yet to really fully address the potential of mistakes by artificial intelligence. Can you address some of those potential risks that this kind of technology can pose to humans, especially to civilians?
There's no shortage of risks in deploying AI in any domain. The current state of the art in AI is very difficult to verify and essentially to guarantee their safety. Some of the AI systems based on deep learning are very easily fooled through the change of a few pixel values or a few minor changes in the environment that they are operating in can result in catastrophic changes of behavior or manipulation of the behavior. This is one of the issues that both the academia and the industry has been dealing with, not just in the domain of autonomous weapons, even in autonomous vehicles. This is a major issue. Another issue is that AI in general is the science and the process of automating the process of achieving an objective. One of the problems with objectives is that we don't often know how to explicitly define objectives such that it encompasses everything that we want it to do. For example, if we want to define an objective for an autonomous vehicle to get us from point A to point B, that may sound sufficient, but it's not, because it doesn't include do not hit pedestrians, do not hit other vehicles.
Yeah.
And the same can hold true in autonomous weapons. Coming up with those objectives, explicit objectives, that reduces the chances of mistake. The risk of errors is going to be an issue. And of course, there's the issue of proliferation and scale. When the AI technology is not closely guarded, it's not held secret, it's very open source, and anybody with access to the knowledge, which is quite easy on the internet, as well as the hardware, can create autonomous weapons using AI.
to the layperson doctor, to someone like me, a layperson, all I can think of, is like Terminator 2, right? It makes no decisions on its own. It's already been programmed. That's what it does. Real briefly, in maybe 30 seconds, if you can, doctor, can you touch on some of the ethical or moral dilemmas that we as a country or as a society have to grapple with the future of AI and warfare?
So the entity that creates the AI-enabled weapon will need to define what the objective of that weapon is, who needs to be killed, who can stay alive and such. And that entity will have absolute power over who lives and who dies. And that on its own is a huge issue. If the objective is not comprehensive enough, is not accurate enough or representative of what the ethics of the society requires, this can lead to essentially totalitarianism.
Very interesting. I hope you can find some time to come back and join us again on this topic. Dr. Vahid Behzadaan, thank you so much for your expertise.
My pleasure. Thank you.